So guys, welcome to my channel. We're going to be creating a video editor in Android Studio. So let's take a look at what we are going to create. Let me run the app again. So this is the app that we are going to create. So the way this app is that you can click on this button and pick a particular picture to crop. Now these are all the ones that I've cropped before, that when I was working on the app. So let me pick this one that is not yet cropped, and I'm going to do a different thing to this picture. So when I pick this picture, it's going to load up in the editor, so I can edit this picture. So I'm going to do a different thing to this picture so that it should be different from the rest. You can see that I can apply different shape. You can see that the picture is changing. You can do anything that you like, anyhow you want the picture to be. I'm just doing it in such a way that the app, you can design better, you can edit your picture to be very good, but I'm just doing it in such a way that it should be different from all those pictures you saw on my gallery, on my folder. So that's why I'm doing this one to be like this. So let me save and let's see how it's going to be. So it's going to preview here. From the preview, you can check it out. From the preview, you can check the way it is, but it's already saved on the folder. You can share it, although this button doesn't have function yet. So let me go back and let's try to pick another one again. You can see that this is the one that I edited currently. I mistakenly click on one. Let me cancel. So I can pick other ones and edit. So this is what we are going to build at the end of this tutorial. So stay tuned. And the one thing about this app is that it has also camera effects. It has a camera effect that you can snap. Then I will save it. I can work on it. I can edit what I took from the camera, save it, then save it. You can see the preview. If we open the folder again, you see, look at the picture here. So this is what we are going to build at the end of this video, at the end of this tutorial. So please, if you like the video, subscribe to my channel, share with friends. Please, I'm going to be uploading very wonderful content, even better than this. Thank you as we go into the tutorial. So guys, let's get started. We're going to create a new project in Android Studio. We're using empty activity. We'll click next. So we're going to call it Photo Editor. So we're using Java and SDK 20 API level of our minimum SDK is API level 23, Android 6. So after you have written the name, everything, you click finish. So let's just wait for our project to finish syncing. Let me maximize my Android Studio. So the first thing I want to create is the splash screen, so that whenever a user enter the app, it will show the splash screen, give beauty to an app. So let's just wait for our project to finish syncing. Just a moment, it will be okay. Alright, so I think it's okay now. So let's create an empty activity. We need two activity, one for splash screen and the second one for the result activity. So I'm going to call it a splash screen activity. Splash screen activity. Splash activity is okay. So click on finish. So what I need in this splash screen is just the image for it to display. So let me go to, sorry about this. This error is due to I'm using Android version 4.0 and I'm using this build compile SDK version of 31, which is not compatible with it. So let me reduce it to this, but you will not have this problem on your own, so don't bother. There's this dependency that I normally insert in my Android Studio. I think is there in your own by default. But if it is not there, you can search for it on Google and get it. Never mind about this dependency that I add here. It's supposed to be in your own by default. I know what I did, that I tried to use Lambda in my Android Studio. That's why this thing was removed from it. So that is that. So let me come to my main activity, my activity XML for the splash screen. I just need to use a linear layout. Then I'll set the gravity to be center. That's all I need for now. Then I need an image view. I will set the content as a match parent. Then the height, I'm going to set it as 200 dp. So the source, I need an image for the source. So let me go to my resource. I have this image for my splash screen activity. So this image you are seeing here is this image here, but here I just screenshot my app, so I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use it so that you will see how I got this result here. So let me just go to my Android Studio. I'll go to my drawable, right click and paste it. So I'll come to my image resource, my image view, use source. So you can see it now. So I want to make this background to be black. So that is how I got that image that you are seeing there. So now this splash screen need to open first. Remember that once we create our app, the main activity is the first screen, but we want this splash screen to be the first activity. So what are we going to do? Go to our manifest file, then we are going to remove the intent from the main activity and put it in the splash screen, the splash activity. So we copy this intent here, we'll just cut it off, then we'll go to our splash screen activity and paste it. So what we need to do is that now our splash screen is the first activity that will open, but we want it to delay a while. Then after delaying a while, as it open, it will display this image for a while and go to the main activity. So we are going to use handler for this. So we are going to we'll write handler is equal to new handler. So this will help the activity to delay for some while before it will open the main activity. So we set handler dot post delay new runnable. So we come down here, comma, we're going to give it 3 seconds. 3 seconds is 3000 milliseconds. So we put semicolon here. Then after 3 seconds, what do we want it to do? We want it to go to the main activity. So we are going to use our start activity, new intent, then splash activity dot this, then main activity dot class. So everything is all right. Let's test our app for what we just did. So let's try it and see what should be our result. Our emulator is okay, set. So let's run the app. Let's see the final result of our code. So it's installing. So you can see, just wait a while. Yeah, so I don't like the action bar, the color of the action bar. I don't like it, so I'm going to give it another color. So I'm going to change these two colors to black. So looking at it is okay. The way it is now, I think is all right. Let's run the app and see the final result of the action bar. Yeah, the app is okay. So that is that. So the next thing we are going to do is to design the main activity. But before then, let me create a new activity. This will stand as our result activity. This activity is an activity that whenever you finish cropping the image is going to come and display on this activity. Once it is displayed on this activity, automatically it is saved on your device. So we want the final result to be displayed on this activity before it will be saved in our device. But once it is displayed, know that it is already saved. It's for us to know what to do, either to share it or whatever. So let's create an empty activity. We are going to call it result activity. So click on finish. I think it's all right now. So let's go to our main activity and give some design. We just need 2 buttons. One button is to crop the image, while the other button is to take camera. So let's do it. So on the main activity, we are going to do just little design. We are going to use a linear layout. So inside this linear layout, we are going to have another layout called we are going to still have another linear layout here, because this linear layout is going to have just 2 image buttons. So this linear layout, I'm going to give it some drawable file. But before then, I need a background for this layout. So I'm going to use this background here. Now you can see that the layout is just stick to the up. I want it to come down, so I'm going to set it margin bottom. Gravity will be, I'll use gravity. Alright, so if you look at the down, inside this if you look at the bottom, inside this our linear layout, you can see that we have 2 image buttons. So I'm going to set some drawable assets to this image button, vector assets. So I will call this one I'll give this one. So I'll be setting the color to be white. I'll call it crop. One will be for cropping, another one will be for camera. So I think this one will be okay. Let's use this. Let me give it a better name. So let's import it. Let's bring it to this place. Source. This will be crop. And this is going to be camera. So I'm giving background of black so that it should be visible and it should look good. So looking at it is okay. Let me give these two image buttons, let me give them height of 40 dp. So it's now looking good. So we just need to give them ID. So let's run our app and see the way it is. Oh yeah, so I think it's okay. So the next thing we are going to do is this. We'll go to do the design for the splash screen. No, not the splash screen. I think the result activity. We just need a little design on it before we'll now go into the main theme. So let me do the design. I need a linear layout for this result activity. I will set the background as white, orientation to be vertical, so I'll be needing image view, not image button, image view. I'll set the width as match parent, the height as 200. Let me continue the design. I also need a vector asset for this. This vector asset is going to be black. So I need some button for sharing it on social media, although these buttons are not going to have function, but for making our app to look beautiful. So I'm going to set these things in a linear layout. So let me bring in some icons. So the first one is going to be share. So I'm going to duplicate them into 4 places. So these icons are too close to the image. So let me give a margin bottom 20 dp. So I'm going to give this our image view an ID of a btn underscore result. No, this will be img underscore result. So we are done with all our design. So in the next video, we are going to start working on our functions on the activities.java. See you next. Hello guys, welcome back. So let's proceed to add some dependency that we need for our video editor, because we are using an SDK for this app. It's the SDK that will enable our app to behave like a video editor. So let's go to the website for the SDK. So I have this website called DS Photo Editor.com. So if you navigate to this website, then like the way it is, let me click on the home page. This is the website. Once you use their SDK, you'll be able to build a complete and very good video editing app. So how do we go about? The first thing we are going to do is that we'll go to documentation. So we are going to use it for Android. As I'm hovering on the documentation, you can see we have for Android, iOS using Objective-C and Swift. So we are using Android. So let's click on it. So now we need to add some things. We need to click here to download the SDK. So let's wait for it to finish downloading. So as it is downloading, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to add this dependency here. We'll copy this flat DI arrow, copy it, then go to where are we supposed to paste it, all project repository. So it is the app module, the app level. So we have a repository there, but not that one. We have all project, it is here. So let's paste it here. So let's proceed. What again do we need? I think the way it is, our SDK has been downloaded. Let's go to the folder and extract it. We have it here. So when you extract it like this, you see that there's a macOS and there's Android SDK file. You click on the Android SDK, then you go to SDK and click on the SDK. So you click on this and copy it. If you check on the website, look at from this picture, it's showing us that this is where we're supposed to paste it in our libraries, in our libraries folder. So let's go to our app. For us to view that folder, we need to click here on this Android and click project. So expand this thing, this photo editor, then you expand the app, then you see lib folder here. You right click and paste it here. So you can now paste it there. So you can see it has been pasted, it is here now. So let's click on project and click on Android for it to return back to the way it was. So let's proceed further to add other dependencies. So we need to add this thing here. We'll copy it. We'll come to this point in the default config and paste it there. Not here. Let's go down. Default config. So it's here that I was supposed to paste it. Android default config. Let's check. Let's look at the way it is. Android default config. Let's come below here and paste it. So let's go further. Now we need to copy all these dependencies here. Let's go down below, paste it here. Now for this one here, we don't need this one because it's already there in our Android Studio by default. So let's proceed. Let's copy these permissions. This will be in our manifest file. So looking at it, we are done with the build.gradle. So we need to just sync our projects. So the next work is in the manifest file. Let's add all these permissions. So the way it is, we are making progress. Let's add this in our, still in our manifest file. Now we need to add all these things here now. We're supposed to add it inside the application. So let's go below here and paste it. I don't like the way it has a lot of space. So it's okay now. What do we do next? Let's go further. So we now need some things in our main activity. So before we proceed to do this, there's some code that we need to write. Let's do it. We need to write a code to be able to access the image folder in our device, in our phones. So let's go to our main activity. On our main activity, let me bring in the button. I'll call it image button crop. So here we need to write code to give us access to our image folder on our phones. So we set intent. Remember that intent is the method is just like a function that helps us to move to another activity, from one activity to another. So the only thing it's going to do is to open our image folder on our phone. So we set intent is equal to new intent does set action, and the action is to get something from the phone, which is intent.action get content. So which type of content do we want this intent to get? We set content.set type. Now the way it is that it requires us to write what we want, whether it is video that we want or it is image that we want. So we set image. Now what type is it? JPG or JPEG or PNG? But we don't want to select the one that we want. We want all type of images. So that's where we are using the asterisk. So we set start activity for results. Intent. Then the next thing is going to be the request code. Request code is just you just write any integer number of your choice. Any number you want to write, just write it. That is what they call, that is request code. So we can use it in another place. So when we write this request code, is this request code that will be used on another function. We'll call it in another function or method. So I'll just set it 101, but why not set it as a global variable? So I'm going to the top to write it at the top. So that is it. So let's run our app and test what we just did. You will see that it will be able to access our photo, our gallery, just the folder that has images. So let's click on this crop. So you can see that it has access to our images. Now these are the one I was using to test. The one that I've done, I edit these images. So we have access to all our images now. Now we need to proceed to bring in the SDK. But before we bring in the SDK, we are going to use a request code. It's on this request code activity, on this request code function, that we are going to input the SDK. So let's write the code. If you have done permission in Android before, you will know this, what the code I'm going to write, although I will explain. coming. Let me check something. So guys, I was trying to get the on activity result, but the Android Studio is not giving me the suggestion. So that's why I was checking something if there's something I'm missing. So this is it, on activity results. So inside this on activity results, we are going to get access to this image code. Is this activity that will give us access to this image request code, so that any image that you click on from that code, we'll now get it here and use it for whatever we want to do. So we say if request code, the request code is this request code here. If this request code is equal to image request code, then what do we want the app to do? So if this request code is equal to this image request code, meaning that it has link with that code there, and it has link to any image that we selected from the gallery. So we say, then if it is true, we say if data dot get data is not equal to null. If data has been selected, something has been selected from the folder, from the image gallery, then what do we want to do with it? So we want to create anything that is being selected from the folder, that is from the gallery, is considered as image URL. So we are going to set a URL to get our image. So any image we selected from the folder is considered as image URL. So we are going to use it. So therefore we are going to set URL. We'll call it file path is equal to data.getData. So any data that we selected will be stored in the data.getData. Then the file path is equal to any data selected. So file path is equal to data.getData. So we'll now use this file path to do, so the image will be stored on this file path. Then we can now use it to do whatever we want to do. So at this point, we'll now bring in some line of code from our SDK. So let's go to the website again. So we'll copy this and paste it here. So this line of code simply means that whenever you get the image, then the image you can launch the photo editor activity. Then when you launch the photo editor activity, you set the image to the editor, because the image has been stored in this file path. So we are going to set the file path on this place. But there's another thing that we need to do again. We need to give, whenever image want to be saved, there should be a directory that the image will be saved to. So we need to give a directory name. So let's go to the website. This is what we mean here. So copy this. So we are just going to call this as a photo editor. You can name it whatever you want, so that any image that is being saved on your device, the folder that it will be saved will be called photo editor. So photo editor will be created. So if you use a file manager to check your image, the image will be saved on the folder called photo editor. Any name that you give to it, that is the name you will see. So we are going to press Alt Enter and import this. So the SDK also has a function that we can hide some of the features that we don't want on the SDK, because the SDK has a lot of function, a lot of features. So let us use this code so that it will not give us too much function. So this line of code is going to hide some of the features that may not be relevant to us. So at this point, our app is ready. Let's test it and see what we have done so far. So let's click on it. Let's select this photo. You can see that it is done. So we can add features. You can see the way it is. We save it that this is the way we want the photo to be. Let's add another feature to it again. I think that color is very beautiful. Let's try it again. Let's use another feature. Let's leave that. I think that we have done that before. Let's set the contrast. This look good. So let's save it and see. So let's check let's click on it and see that photo. You can see that this is the photo here. It is here. So but if you see the way it is, that once it finish editing, it will just take us to the main activity. It's supposed to just like preview the image for us to see. So that will be the next thing we are going to do now. So for us to do that, this is what we are going to do. We are going to come below this place. We'll say if request code is equal to 200, then intent is equal to new intent main activity dot this result activity dot class. Then intent dot set data dot get data. Start activity intent. So we are not yet done. Let's check the website. So this is what we just did. So the next thing we are going to do is that this request code is sending us to the next activity called result activity, and is setting the data here. And so we are going to use a get intent to get this data from this intent here. So come to the result activity. Meanwhile, on the result activity, you know that we have a layout here called image view here. So this image, we are going to set the image as a preview on this image view, so that when you finish cropping your image, yours is just to see your work before it will be saved to the device. But remember that once you preview it, it is saved automatically. So the work of this activity is to preview your image. So we have we gave it an idea of image img result. So let's use it. Remember that we have set intent. We have stored the image request code. We have stored the image request code on the intent, on this intent. So we are going to use get intent to get the image and preview it. So let's come to this result activity. We're going to bring in the image button. I think it's image view that we used here. Let me check. I forgot. So it's image view that I used here. So I'll set image view. I'll call it img preview. I'll reference it by ID. So the only thing I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to use img preview dot set image URL, then get intents dot get data. That's all. So let's rerun our app and see what we have done. So let's click on the image. Let's work on this car. What are we going to do here? We are going to make it very bright. Then we are going to give a back, just make it this way so that it will be different from the one we have there, so that you know that there's a difference. Let's give it a sticker. So that there should be a difference. So let's save it and see what will happen. Still saving. So you can see how it is previewed. So if we have function attached to this button, we are just going to share it. So let's go back and check if it is there in our gallery. So you can see that it is there. I decided to do a different thing so that it should be different from others. You will know that it is working. So thank you. On our next video, we are going to work on the next button, the button that has the camera, so that whenever we can use camera, we click on this. Whenever we click on this button, we will use camera to get picture and edit it. So I will see you in the next video.